Hi! Within previous section, we have already installed our virtual machines and we have run Kali Linux. But we didn't really discuss how to use it. Within this section, we're going to learn the basics of Kali Linux and we're going to learn some basic Linux commands. Because I have already explained that Kali Linux is a version of Linux. We call it distribution. And we specifically use Kali Linux for penetration testing purposes. We're going to see how to use Kali Linux, the overview of general user interface of Kali Linux, and also some comments regarding to Linux and specifically Kali Linux. And finally, we're going to end this section by learning how to change Kali Linux password. Now, if you're ready, let's get started.
Hi! Within this section, we're going to show you how to work with Kali Linux. As you can see now, I have two virtual machines here. I have deleted the others because we're going to need to work with Kali Linux and Windows from this point on. Later on within this course, we're going to install the other machines as well when we are going to need them. Okay? So click Start and open your Kali Linux, and you may want to close this down and say root for your username and say tour for your password. Later on, we're going to see how to change that as well. Don't worry. After you open the Kali Linux, you may want to just maximize this window and make it into full screen. You can say go to full screen from here or click maximizing icon from your desktop. So here we have our desktop in Kali Linux. As you can see, this is our desktop. We may put some files or folders if we want. And here in the left pane, you can see some applications, some files and folders. As you can see, the first one is the Firefox. This is the browser when we use to go browse the internet or when we want to go to another website. Okay? And we're going to test our internet connection later on. But for right now, you can just close this and say close tabs. Here we have the terminal and we're going to use that a lot, and we're going to see how to use it in the next lecture. If you click on files, you may want to browse the files and folders in your computer, in your Kali Linux. You may want to go to the desktop. You can go to the documents like we did before. If you download something, you can go from here to the music or pictures. You may want to go to documents downloads from left pane as well. So this is standard folders and files application in Kali Linux. I think you're used to this from Windows and from Mac OS as well. So nothing strange in here, just files and folders. And also in the left pane, we have other applications as well. Like we have Metasploit framework. So these are some tools that we use for penetration testing, some hacker tools to penetrate into other systems. And we're going to see how to use that in the following sections. Okay, right now we are not interested in any of this. So just know that this is kind of a pain that gives you some desktop icons. If you click on them, it will open the related application for you. For example, this is LeafPad. This is something like a text editor. You can click on it and just write some text notes and save it as a text pad or notepad in your own computer. If you click on here, show applications, it will pop up a window to search for applications and browse the other applications that doesn't show up here. And you may reach those applications from here as well. As you can see, these are categorized into categories like information gathering, vulnerability analysis. So these are the tools that I was telling you all about when I say the Kali Linux comes pre-installed with a lot of tools for penetration testing. For example, we have Nmap in here. We're going to use it later on. For example, we have some wireless attacks like aircrack ng, and we're going to see how to use many of them later on in the course, and we can reach them from here in this menu. By the way, even though we have those menus in here, we're mainly going to use the terminal rather than these graphical user interfaces here. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Don't worry, I'm just going to show you the overview of Kali Linux in this lecture. In places, you may see home desktop downloads again, like we seen in the files application. Here we have workspaces, and this allows you to work within many workspaces. Like if you open something like documents or files or folders in here, we are now in a workspace. Now if you click on workspace 2, it will create another workspace which has nothing on them. Okay, if you click on workspace 1, it will take you back to the current state in your first workspace. We're not gonna use this very much. It's something like show the desktop in Windows, but it's useful sometimes when you work with many files, folders, or terminals simultaneously. Okay, so you may want to just click close in here. Now we are okay to go. If you click here, it will open the settings for you, and as you can see, we have the volume here. Okay, you may want to increase or decrease the volume from here. Now it says wired connected because now we are connected to the internet through NAT network, and it's kind of a wired connection to our host machine. As I said before, NAT network provides us the internet connection through our host machine, and it acts like a wired connection. So think of it like that. You're connecting your Kali Linux with your host machine, with your own machine, with a wire. So we have our account here, root account, and you may want to change the settings from here. You may want to click on this, okay, settings button, and it will open all the settings for you. So maybe you may want to change the keyboard or language from here, or you may want to customize the way you work, like the background or the notifications or the account, mouse and touchpad. Like this is a standard settings pane in our operating system. So I believe this is now done. Let me test my internet connection from Firefox. Let's open the Firefox and try to go to google.com. Okay, just open this and type google.com. Okay, w.google.com, and if it's connected, then it means that you did NAT network thing right. So let's stop here, and within the next lecture we're going to see how to use commands within Linux terminal. Hi, within this lecture we're going to see how to work with terminal. And terminal lets us run commands from within inside Kali Linux, and when we run these commands, we actually tell Kali Linux to do what we tell it to do, and they execute this command and return us the result. So what do I mean? Let me show you. If you go to this terminal, click here, it will open for you, and you can just go here to view and zoom in if you want. I'm going to do that in order to make it clear to you. And when you type commands here, it will get executed by Kali Linux. Like what? If I say ifconfig, for example, and hit enter, it will tell me the latest IP configuration of my Kali Linux. And these values do not matter right now, okay? You don't know how to read this, I know. But what I'm trying to tell you, when I type a command in here, it will get executed by Kali Linux. For example, if I write clear and hit enter, it will clear the screen for me. And also, we can use this terminal to browse through files and folders within inside Kali Linux. For example, if I type pwd, it will show me the current working directory. So I'm in the root folder right now. And the root folder is this folder. When you first click on files, you see the home folder, which is the root folder. So if you type ls in root folder and hit enter, it will list the current files and folders in that root folder. As you can see, I see the exact files and folders when I click on here and browse this, and when I type this to my terminal. Suppose that I want to go to documents folder, okay? I have to say cd and bring a space here and type documents. And it has to be exactly the same with capital D and documents. If I write this with lowercase d, it won't work. It has to be exactly the same, okay? If I hit enter, it will go into the documents folder. Now if I type ls in here, it will show me the content of the documents folder. In order to confirm this, I can go to here and click on my documents folder. Now I see this content that I see in here. So I have previous files in my documents folder. If you don't have anything, when you type ls, it won't give you any result. For example, let me show you what I mean. Let me close this down. And there is a command for creating a new folder. So it's exactly the same thing as right-clicking in a folder and saying a new folder, okay? And it's called mkdir. So it stands for make directory. After you say mkdir and type your test or your folder name and hit enter, it will create this folder for you. You may type ls to see the current contents once more, and as you can see, we have now the test folder in here. Now I can do cd test and hit enter to go into that folder, and if I type ls, it won't show me anything because test folder doesn't have anything inside it. Okay, so maybe now you're understanding what I mean. So let me run clear one more time. So right now I'm in the test folder. What if I want to go back to documents? I can type cd and bring a space and then hit dot dot. And if I hit enter, it will go back to the documents. Now if I want to go back one more time, of course I can do cd dot dot to go back to my home folder. Then maybe I want to go to desktop, and I know the desktop is there. If I just write des and hit tab, it will autocomplete it for me. So if I hit enter, now I'm in the desktop. And if I run ls, it won't show me anything because there's nothing on my desktop. So let me go back to my home folder one more time and type ls. Now let's suppose I'm going to go into downloads, okay, say cd downloads, and as you see it auto-completed it for me when I hit tab. Now let me clear the screen. So not only you can browse these files and folders with this technique, but also you can run the commands and applications from inside the terminal as well. What do I mean? We have our leaf pad in here, right? So if I click on it, it will open the leaf pad for me, where I can write some things like test, 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 and save this as a text file. But I don't want to save it, and I don't want to call this from here. Maybe I'm trying to open an app which is not placed in here, but I have to go to here and search for it. Rather than that, I'm going to type leaf pad in here and hit enter, and it will open the leaf pad for me. Now if I type anything here like test, test, and if I save this file from here to my downloads, for example, and say test, 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 and hit enter, it will save it for me. Now if I close this down and type ls in my downloads, I can see test, test, test. In order to read this file, there's a command for that as well. All you have to do is just type cat, okay, cat test, test, test. And if I hit enter, it will show me the content of that test. So it reads the file. So let me hit enter one more time to have a clear line, and let me run clear. So if you hit up arrow in your keyboard, it will show you the latest command that you have called. And if you just hit it one more time, it will show you the previous command, and goes and on and on. You can use the upper arrow and down arrow in order to just browse the latest command that you have called in your terminal. We're going to learn a lot of commands throughout the course, so I'm not gonna waste so much time in here. I just wanted to show you the feeling of this terminal. And when you freshly install a Kali Linux, it's always a good idea to update the files and folders and libraries inside of that Kali Linux. In order to do that, you have to call something called apt-get, okay? So let me type what I mean, apt-get. So we use this command in order to download some modules, download some repositories, and we're going to learn how to do that within the next sections. But for right now, we're going to use this command in order to update our Kali Linux. First, I'm going to call apt-get update and hit enter. And as you can see, it's now reading the packages and it's updated for me. And since I'm using this Kali Linux all the time, it may have been a little fast for me. Maybe it will take some more time for you. But after you run apt-get update, I suggest you run apt-get upgrade as well. And this will complete our upgrade and update process. However, as you can see, I got an error. Not necessarily it means that you're going to get this error as well. I know exactly what this error means, but I'm going to show you how to deal with errors in general cases. So when you have an error like that, all you have to do is actually copy this error, okay, and go to google.com from Firefox and paste it in Google to search it. So there are a lot of resources on web telling what kind of an error is this and how to deal with it. So let me paste this error from here and click enter. As you can see, I have a lot of results here, so let me zoom in a little bit so you can see it better. As you can see, I have something from ubuntu.com, I have something from TechMint, I have something from FAQ, forge.com, and everything. So let me go one of them. you can browse the other ones. As you can see, some people asking, I'm getting this when I run apt-get. This is exactly what happened to us. Okay. And let me go down to the best answer in here. It says that, okay, I have something that might resolve your issue. Okay. And there are a lot of other results as well. They are all trying to explain what this means and explain how to resolve this. So let's try one of these actually. Let's go back to the best result in here, the one with the most voted results. So let me copy this, okay, and go back to my terminal and paste the command and try to hit enter. As you can see, it got executed without an error. So let me go back to other commands here as well and copy them and paste them in here, and it got automatically executed for me. So these commands actually removing the log files in my computer, and these log files block me to run these apt-get commands. So maybe you don't know, or maybe you didn't know how to do that. Okay, so maybe you don't know what rm means. It stands for remove. So when you type rm and then a name, a file name, it removes that file. But not necessarily it means that you have to know every command. When I get an error, I went to the internet, I read about explanations and possible solutions. I'm not gonna spend so much time on it, but I just wanted to show you, if you get an error at any point in the course, you may find answers very quickly on the internet. And of course, if you cannot find any answers, you may come to the Q&A section and ask them to me. So when I try to run apt-get upgrade again, as you can see, now it's running. So it says to me, you want to continue, say Y for yes and N for no. I'm going to say Y and hit enter. And since it's going to download a lot of packages, a lot of upgrades and updates for my computer, it may take some time. So you better pause the video here and continue to the next lecture, where we are going to learn how to change our Kali Linux password. Hi, within this lecture, we're going to learn how to change our Kali Linux password. So I'm going to say clear in order to clear the screen, and I'm going to explain why do we need to change our password. As you can see, we are using the default root account, and the default password for root account is tur. So everybody knows it, and it's not safe to use this in our own virtual machines. Actually, when you use Linux, it's advised not to use root account at all, because it has all the authority, it has all the permissions to do everything in your account. So maybe you're using Linux in order to run a server, okay? And if you get hacked or something, if the hacker reaches your root account, he or she may change whatever she wants to change, okay? But if you use a less privileged account, it means that they cannot change anything unless you give them permission. But we're not going to change our username because it may lead to other complications. It may create another responsibilities, another additional commands that we have to run. We're going to continue using root, but in order to make this a little bit safer, we're only going to change our password. In order to do that, I'm going to write pass wd. it means that change the password. And if you hit enter, it will ask you for a new password. So type your new password without giving it some special characters to avoid any confusion, I suggest. Okay, some people may suggest otherwise, but I suggest you use some letters and numbers only. So I'm going to give it, and as I type, it won't appear here, but it's typing. If I hit enter, it will ask me to retype that new password, and I will type it again. For security reasons, it won't appear here, but it's typing. As you can see, it says that passwords do not match. I couldn't do it. Let me do it one more time. Let me try it one more time. I'm running passwd once more, and I'm trying to give the same password this time. Okay, I'm going to choose very simple password, and as you can see, it says that password updated successfully. Now when I close this down and when I re-enter my Kali Linux, rework my Kali Linux, I'm going to give the root and my new password to get in. Now I cannot log in with password 2. I'm going to have to give my new password. And after you complete this course, of course you may want to create your own account and you may not want to use root. Then you will have to use the command add user and bring a space here and type your new account name. But I don't suggest you do that right now. It's sufficient for us to change the password only. After you complete the whole course, you may create your own user. So if you manage to come to this point, let's stop here, and within the next section we're going to see how to be anonymous when we go online.
Hi! Now you know how to run Kali Linux in basic terms. Don't worry, we're going to practice so much in Kali Linux, then you will remember and you will know what to use, when to use, and how to use in the following sections. Don't worry, we're going to practice them so much. And within the following sections, we're just going to dive into the action. We're going to see how to be anonymous online, and then we will follow up our curriculum in the following sections as well. So now if you're ready, let's get started in the next section.